and you're just doing it wrong. That's all. You're just doing it wrong. You need to change and recalibrate and approach it from a different angle and give yourself a lot more time and flexibility and permission to not do it right in the beginning. That's what learning's like. But whenever you start adding money to it, now it becomes something totally different, isn't it? You have to be right. You have to be profitable. Otherwise, you're broke, or you're failing, or you've lost your account. And it changes the scorekeeping mechanism from just feeling like you enjoy doing this to, are you making money or not making money? In the beginning, you can't think of it like that. You have to know who you are, discover how you're going to undo yourself and wreck yourself and derail yourself. And it's always the person. It's not the method. It's not the fucking method. It is the person. Because good money management can work with a shitty system. Proof of it is flip a coin. Flip a coin and risk very, very small amounts. Let runners run. You won't make millions of dollars with it, but it's better than you trying to do what you've done in the past, because it's a rule-based idea. And you're limiting losses, which is the first rule in trading. Control capital. Preserve capital. That's the rule number one. But when you're coming into this as a new trader, a new student, you're not thinking that. You're thinking, how much can I make? How fast can I make? You see, those are the things you're coming into it with. How fast can I quit my job? Not, how can I make sure I don't lose all my money? How can I make sure I preserve capital, even knowing that I can take losing trades? I can still weather that and make more money. That's the difference. That's the difference between someone that has a realistic expectation to investing in trading versus someone that just wants to get in here, like the crypto phase. Okay, so many people got into trading because of Bitcoin going to 60,000, 70,000 almost. They never would have touched any markets ever. Stock market's always been there. Commodities have always been there. But crypto came out and everybody else was sitting on the sidelines thinking, man, everybody's getting rich with crypto. I'm going to go in there and pour my money into it at 60,000. If it drops a little bit, average in, hold on for dear life. And it keeps on dropping, it keeps on dropping, it keeps on dropping. And now they're demoralized. And they're thinking, oh, nobody makes money trading. They came in with their strength. Their strength is they're going to do what everybody says is risky at the time when everybody had already done it. Everybody was chasing it. And when the mania was high, that's what I told everybody. All my long-term students know this. I said, we're done. We're done. And it dropped. And it doesn't mean I'm a good crypto trader. It just means that I understand market psychology. I understand how traders are victimized when they're in that loser cycle. And when mania comes, it's it. They're going to put the brakes on it and start taking it the other way. But those traders that came in when crypto was running hot, who was left after that? Nobody. You're talking about John Q. Public, the people that would have never done any type of investing or trading. They finally took the leap of faith to get into that stuff. What are they feeling right now when it tanked? You think they feel like they made a good investment? Buying it at 60,000 plus, 50,000 plus? And it went all the way down to wherever it went. I don't even know off the top of my head where it went. And I don't even know. I don't even know where it's at right now, to be honest with you. I'm talking in, obviously, in previous conversations in the past. I mean, it could be wherever it is. I don't know now, but that expectation that you hold over yourself coming in, that you think that you're going to be good at trading because of this, that, and the other thing, that's never going to be the strength. Like, I thought my obsessive compulsiveness would be my undoing, when in fact that's the very thing that makes me ICT. I would have not been able to stay with this, number one. I would have not been able to identify certain things that brought attention on myself, and all of a sudden found myself in the presence of people that you would never meet. And gifted with insight, and here it is. I'm sharing it with you, and you're seeing the fruits of it with other people doing it. all by their own steam. And I'm so proud of that. I'm proud of that. I'm proud to see students that stick with it. They didn't listen to the naysayers. They didn't listen to the people around them that said they couldn't do it. Their spouses, when they don't agree with it, that's hard. That's so hard. If you have a relationship with somebody that doesn't believe in you or believe in what you're doing, you might as well never bring it up or talk about it, because you're going to add more dimensions to the difficulty and impossibility of succeeding in this, because you're torn between who you love. You don't want to stress them out, but you don't want them to stress you out. You want them to encourage you. But if they don't believe in it or subscribe to the same views you hold in this, you can't convince them of it. And what that does is it creates an insatiable desire to prove that there's no reason for them not to trust you. So you take on what? Bigger risks. You trade more. You do reckless bullshit to try to run up the account. Just anything. Don't think I'm fucking talking the truth. Think about the last time you got in an argument. You want to be able to show her. You want to be able to show him. So that way you can ease their minds and their doubts. And that way maybe you can convince them into encouraging you. I got news for you. If they aren't encouraging you then, they're not going to encourage you later. So stop looking for outward affirmance. You can't base your success or willingness to stick with this on the premise that other people support what you're doing. Nobody thought I was going to be able to figure this stuff out. Nobody. And my uncle, who introduced me to the idea when I was 15 years old, got pissed off when I started figuring the shit out. You would think that, man, he'd be like, wow, this is really great. Continue what you're doing. No, never fucking. Not one time did he do that. Not one fucking time. He sat in my passenger seat of my fucking Corvette telling me in bawling tears, saying that I don't understand why I couldn't get this. I did it before you and I'm jealous. His fucking words. And I'm like, what the hell, dude? Really? That's what you see in all this stuff? You resent me because I'm able to do it because I put a lot of effort into it? I studied and studied and studied? No. So stop looking at other people for validation. Stop looking at other people to encourage you. If you need other people to encourage you, you are not fucking passionate about this, and you have to be in love with it. You have to love this shit. You have to live this shit. Because if you can't do that, you aren't going to make it. Because losing trades will come. Drawdown periods will come. Times when the market gets tough and you can't find your way in it, it's going to happen. That shit's always going to be there. And if you can't find the encouragement in yourself to stick to the rules, trust that the process will yield the results that you're looking for, not on the timetable you're looking for, and certainly not on the timetable that your fucking friends and family want you to have, to justify their doubts. Fuck their doubts. Who gives a shit if they don't like what you're doing, if they don't believe it's going to happen? They're not doing it. You are. You're putting the fucking work and effort into it. And when it comes time for you to pull out the fruits of what it is you're putting the hard effort into, and they're your spouse, they're your significant other, they get to share in that reward. Whether they change their tune after that or not, gives a fuck. That's not why you're doing it. You're doing it because you want to do this. You believe in it. I don't look at my wife, who doesn't like the fact that I'm still talking to you right now. I guarantee you, she's now one out on the balcony. That's her way of letting me know, you've talked too much today. But I got to get this off my fucking chest. And I'll have to apologize, and I'll have to see her attitude for a couple minutes until we go somewhere and get something nice and eat and whatever. But that's the shit that goes on when you're in a relationship. Relationships complicate this. It is so hard to balance not only your fucking self in this, but if you have a spouse or significant other, or if your partner is not on the same page with you with this shit, don't talk about it. Find an avenue or an outlet that if you're having difficulty, you want to talk. And in that regard, I think a community is, warranted, or it's beneficial. Like that guy, his Twitter handle is ICT Concepts. He's got a nice group of people. They all come together, and usually come together after I do one of these Twitter spaces. And they, kind of like provide a soundboard for everybody else to take the opportunity to say, what did you get from that discussion? And what is that? mean for you, and how does it resonate with you, and what did you get from that, or how did it make you think about things? Did it challenge you in any way? And hearing other people's perspectives and what they go through, that's great. I wish I was listening to it before I started listening to it, because it's real people going through real shit. And sometimes it's not the good stuff. Sometimes it's them going through hardships, and they just need to be encouraged, because they're not getting the encouragement with the people they have around them, their loved ones. I'm doing the quotes in the air with my fingers right now. Remember, that should be a strength, right? Your loved one, your spouse should support you in this. They should be behind you 110%. Honey, go get them, tiger. You're not going to get that shit. Not most of the time. If you have it, you are a unicorn, and be appreciative of that. Be thankful. Take the time out when I'm done with this and say, you know what? I want to let you know that I really appreciate you supporting me in this, because it's very hard. And it's very hard for me to manage everything that needs to go along with finding success in this. And I can't imagine how hard it would be if you weren't behind me. You need to take the time to give that the acknowledgement to that person if it's happening. It's probably not. But if it is happening for you, you're a very lucky person. You're very blessed to have that. Because 90% of the time, you're going to find that every one of us is coming through the same fucking shit the same way. Through the trenches, out of the fucking gutters, okay? We got to pull ourselves out of nobody supporting us, nobody encouraging us, no one saying, keep going. I didn't have it. I did not have it. And it was many times I thought about saying, fuck this. I can't overcome myself. I keep fucking up this stuff. I'm getting in the way. I keep bringing this into the equation. I'm trying to prove myself to this girl, to this woman, my ex-wife, my new girlfriend, my future wife, my children, all that kind of shit. And that stuff, everybody wrestles with it. Everybody wrestles with it. Mark Douglas doesn't talk about it. This is the real shit, the rubber meets the road stuff, brass tacks. And it's uncomfortable. But when you hear other people talk about it, it's therapy, because it feels like you aren't broken. It feels like there's not a problem with you. It's you being a human being, trying to do something extremely technical, extremely complicated, and you're trying to wrestle with human reasoning in something that has no human reasoning behind it. It's all algorithmic. And that's why you have to take the elements of humanism out of it and think about how people can lose money and how someone else can get their seat on the bus. Because that's what this is all about. That's all this business is. It's about taking from those who can have it taken from them and then profiting from that. That's how this business works. That's how this industry runs. And there's no way around it. It's packaged and marketed in a way where the average person can invest and build a good future for themselves. And very few find that. Very few find that. So what's the repeating success story? The small elite do all the good stuff. They make money. They live on, high on the hog. And the average person finds failure, frustration, and they run away saying nobody can do it. And yet there's new suckers that come into the industry all the time. Every single day there's new people coming out and finding a reason to get in here and speculate. And social media keeps that rotating door turning. But if you're stuck in that rotating, revolving door and you haven't found your place yet, hopefully this conversation kind of like sparks that you have to look internally, because you can't look at your spouse, you can't look at your wife. Like, I don't look at my wife to encourage me with this. Like, I can't rely on that. She's not going to see it the way I see it. My children aren't going to see it the way I see it or want them to see it. If my parents understood, what it is I do, they wouldn't understand it. They don't have a capacity to understand what it is that we do. My mother's got a 6th grade mentality. She dropped out of school in 6th grade back, when I was, in her stomach, basically. She said, "That's it. I'm not going to finish school." My father's living out the rest of his existence in Jessup, Maryland, living two consecutive life sentences plus 20 years and plus whatever time he's gotten. We're trying to escape from the Maryland Penitentiary in 1983 or 84. They don't have the capacity to understand what we're doing or what it is that I do and what I'm able to teach and share with you all. So I don't look out externally for other people to encourage me except for you, the student. And I tell you things like, don't share your trade results with me because, like the movie Fight Club, the first rule of Fight Club, we don't talk about Fight Club. Because for me to feel confident that I can share with you, that I can be open with you, is that you're not going to give me things to overcomplicate my frame of mind. When I'm sharing things and I see what I see in the chart, at the time I share them, I'm not thinking about Tom, Dick, and Harry in this collection or community of people that's going to take the information and do something reckless with it. I'm thinking about the student that sees me as someone that's taking my time, taking my energy and my resources and making them available to you free of charge, talking to you in a medium where I'm not monetizing shit. This is all free. I'm on vacation right now. My wife's looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? She just said, I'm leaving. I want to see you succeed. And I don't want you to give me feedback that derails me as the mentor. You tell me you made this and you made that makes me feel like I don't want to do it again. So if you want more of that, don't do that. Okay, I'm not looking for high fives. You shouldn't want my high five. You don't need it. If you've done something right, you don't need anybody else to tell you did it right. You don't need me to critique it. You don't need anybody else to critique it. If it feels right and you did everything based on the rules, that's all you need. You log it and you go forward. So that's going to be it for this one. Hopefully you got something out of it. I went a little bit longer than I said I was going to go. Always works like that. So I will be with you on a tweet tomorrow. I'll be tweeting the person I believe should receive that 20 or 200K Royal Challenge. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I had the highest views on that. I can't remember the company. I apologize. But my choice will be made at 5 p.m. tomorrow on Twitter. I will tweet the company that sent out that, I think it's the Funded Trader or something like that. The Funded Trader or Funded Trader. That company I have no affiliation with. I'm not getting any kickbacks. I'm not in any partnership with them. But I will tweet their handle, and the person I believe should be gifted that 200K Royal Challenge